Hello dolls and dames, Roxy Star here with a video for you that I am so excited to share with you. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad to have you here. And what I want to talk about today, I'm gonna throw it out there right away, is self-confidence, but more specifically, this idea of whether or not self-confidence should be easy. I don't know if you've ever pondered that. I hadn't until recently, and I think it's actually a really relevant way to reframe how you feel within the context of your self-esteem. So really quick before we get started, if you enjoy this, I would be super appreciative of your like. There will be a like button right below that I would love if you would tap. If you're really digging it and you enjoy the content and you think you want to see more of it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And of course, as always, I love your comments. The point I want to make is that I think there might be an illusion there that's holding some people back. And that is when we see a confident female, do you look at her and your first thought is effortless, breezy, just comes to her naturally. It's because she's pretty. It's because she's smart. It's just she was just born that way. I think maybe that's what we think, especially in a time where online content makes people look so perfect and they're so confident. But even in real life, actually, I think we do this. We see somebody who just looks super confident and think it just comes to her. I wish I was that way. So the first thing I want to do is just eradicate that notion. I want to tell you that that is not true. Yes, there might be a 1% out there of women who are just, they are that way and they don't even have to think about it. But I don't think it's largely a true fact. And I want to emphasize it because I think once there's an understanding around that, you can realize that it's actually very attainable for you. It's just that there's some work that goes into it in order to make it happen. So, this might come as like a tough pill to swallow, but the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is that maybe you're under the impression it should be a little easier for you to be self-confident. So here's the thing, women who come across really self-confident, this is not what happens. What doesn't happen is they have no doubts. They have no questions. They're sure of themselves 24 hours a day. They go to bed at night and sleep like babies because they know they've slayed all day and been amazing, and they wake up perfect and just go out there and storm the world with the highest self-esteem you could possibly want. That is not reality, okay? What is reality is a woman who has managed to get a grasp on her self-esteem, has managed to get her arms around her self-image with a certain amount of self-love and enough belief in that to want to fight for it. She has done what she has done to get to that point. And what she is doing is she knows it's not easy, and she knows she has to be strong to maintain it. Okay, so you might see a woman out there doing amazing things and not realize that just like everyone else, she sometimes goes in the bathroom and cries. Just like everyone else, she sometimes hangs up the phone after an important phone call and thinks, did I just blow that phone call? Like, was that, oh my God, what did I just do? She is not absent of the issues that make us doubt ourselves. It's just that she has learned to reframe it, okay? To reframe it. And what I think is a part of the frame of reference of lower self-esteem and a lack of self-confidence is, and I can say this from speaking from experience, so I just want to make it clear, like, this is not judging anybody. I have been in this place and this is how it came to me. Unfortunately, when we feel a low sense of self-esteem, it's generally in tangent with feeling weak, at least in my experience. So when I have high self-confidence, I feel strong. But when my self-love is low and my self-esteem is low and my doubts in myself are high, at the same time, so is my sense of being weak as a person. And that's just not true. It doesn't mean you're weak, but it certainly can make you feel that way. And the first point then that I want to give you along those lines is try to start separating feeling low in your image and correlating it with feeling weak. They are not one and the same. And unfortunately, as long as you continue to see them as sisters, it's going to take a really long time, a longer time to grow out of it because you're making them synonymous. Whereas it won't necessarily be simpler to do it, but it might be faster to get to a better level of self-confidence if you start pushing weak out of the equation and start filling in that blank space with the idea of being strong. Now, I want to give you a few examples in this video, the first of which is going to be an experience I had in June. This will resonate even more if you were at the show or you know me. This will probably resonate a whole lot and surprise you, but in any event, you'll get the idea regardless. Again, really quick, just to throw it in there, don't forget if you're liking this and enjoying it, please hit like, please add a comment, and please subscribe. All right, keeping this train going. So, I had not been on stage in a long time. I used to be a full-time burlesque performer. I had taken a break. I was also really great at emceeing, and essentially the majority of my time in public was on a stage. So I, however, had not been on the stage in a really long time and had suffered through a bunch of personal kind of traumas in the window between the two. So I hadn't been on stage in a while. I hadn't been feeling my strongest in the 2 years previous to that for reasons I'm going to share in another video probably in October. It was daunting, ladies, daunting, okay? Not only that, but I was in incredible shape and kind of in that level of perfection because I was a pole fitness instructor, and so just inherently I was in really great shape when I would go on stage most of the time. Since then I had kind of stopped working out and I just had a softer, curvier form, which was fine. I actually totally embraced that, but it did enter my mind. I'd be lying if I didn't say it entered my mind that my body was different and more voluptuous than when I left the stage a few years prior. So the point is, I want to tell you this. The people who went to the show and saw it were so gracious and said, "You were wonderful, you're an amazing MC." I did a little burlesque, but I mainly MC'd, just to give context to this. So I was the MC, I carried the whole show and had to speak between every performance. So it was 2 hours straight of being on, if you will. Not to mention the fact that I did half of it in a bra and underwear and high heels, which, you know, is also that next level of like stuff that scares people. But to the point, I got a ton of feedback, and then people were like, "That is so amazing. You're so confident. You're so good on stage. You're so good in front of people." You know, people use words like in awe or amazed or "How do you do that?" or "How can you be so bold?" The error there could have been to think she's just like that, and it's easy for her. It's easy for her. That's just who she is. She was born that way. And I'm here to tell you, I was terrified the last few weeks leading up to that show. I had self-doubt coming at me every day, all day, some days that I was contending with. I had, negative voices that were saying, it's been too long, or, you're not ready for this, or you've been through too much trauma recently. Maybe you need to, do a little bit more self-care and recovery. I mean, all this like bullshit, whatever it was, whatever the message was, it was just this onslaught of doubt. And there were times I'd be super excited and think I'm gonna kill it. And then there'd be times I'd lay in bed, and I'm not kidding you guys. I can remember one night literally praying to Jesus and asking for like a medium kind of reason to go into the emergency room. Like, I don't want you to take my life, and I don't want you to kill me, and I don't want to be in there for more than one night, but I am scared shitless. Can we just do a quick visit to the ER on Saturday night so I don't have to go? But here's the thing. It was also a time in my life when life was ready for me to be stronger. And because I made a public commitment to do a public show, and I made this commitment to a friend that I had had for years and years and years, and I knew that the people performing in the show were counting on me to be a good MC, I didn't have the option this time to be weak. I didn't have the option this time for my self-esteem to take a weak frame of mind toward this situation, which is, again, really easy to do in scenarios of your self-esteem being threatened and trying to drop low, okay? It's easier to just feel that weakness and settle into it and retract from life and just bow out. And I just kept getting this voice in my head that was saying, be strong because you're ready. Be strong because you're ready. You're ready, be strong. And that's what I did. I had to fight for that confidence, and I had to push to that level of self-love and self-image and self-esteem to be ready for that night. It did not come easy, and I figured very early on, I figured out that it wasn't gonna be. So there's that. The fact of the matter is, I hate to tell you this, dolls and dames, I wish it was easier. You're gonna have to fight harder. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a tough love thing here with you. I hear a lot of women say, I wanna be self-confident, and I wanna have self-esteem, and I wanna, self-love, and they just wanna kind of have it like read one self-help book or take one dance class, and then all of a sudden they're gonna feel better. That's just not how it works, babe. I'm sorry, I wish it was, but I'm gonna challenge you and give you some tough love on it this time. You're not fighting for it hard enough. If you really want it and you have not ever found it at this point in your life, you need to really ask yourself, love, if you're wanting it enough and you're fighting hard enough for it, or are you, every time you are pushed out of your confidence, buckling, falling into that pit of sadness and self-doubt and not really pushing? I need you to push. I need you to understand it is not easy to be self-confident. And here's even harsher news. It's never gonna be completely 100% easy. Girl, you are gonna have to fight for that until the day you die. There is always gonna be something coming for you. There's always gonna be something right around the corner that's threatening to crush your self-worth. What I need you to do, what I need you to hear today is stop expecting it to be easy. Stop expecting it to be a quick process. Stop assuming that everyone who is confident isn't going in a room on her own by herself sometimes and having to talk herself back up for 3 minutes, feeling like a crazy person because she just lost all faith in herself for a short while that day. I need you to push yourself. Fight for your self-confidence. Make up your mind about it and go harder for it, okay? Do that. Quick 2 examples before we finish up today on how I saw that. I recently taught a self-confidence crash course, and it was so eye-opening for me and such a tremendous experience. I got just as much out of it as the girls did. But I want to tell you about a couple of them really quick because this is a great example. Okay, so no names. One of them, the last 3rd day of the class, there was 3 sessions and something tremendously sad had happened for her. Like tremendously sad. Not a death necessarily, but just trust me, tremendously sad. Okay, the kind of thing you don't really want to get out of bed for a few weeks. It would have been so easy for her to call me and say, I can't come for that reason. And some of the reasons for not coming, if she would have given them to me, I wouldn't have been really accepting of, but I would have, to be honest. I would have understood. She didn't. She didn't call and say that. She did call and say, I'm going to be a few minutes late because it was like a rock your world kind of day, which was fine. I was just so thrilled she was on her way. And she showed up. She had already come to the first 2 classes. She'd already put in all this work enthusiasm. She only had 1 session left to complete her self-confidence crash course. And there was so much content that day that she would have missed. And here she comes, right? She comes in and she's pushing forward. You can feel it. A tremendous amount of sadness and just heaviness. There's a heaviness about it that is so clearly there. But she's there, bitches. She is there. I was so impressed with her. She fought for her self-confidence and she didn't expect it to be easy. And she didn't expect that 2/3 of the way in, life was going to throw her a curveball and make it even harder and make her fight for it even more. And trust me, this girl already had to fight through another thing before the start of this class even happened. She showed up. Let her be an example to you. I was so amazed. You know who you are. I am proud of you. One other example, this one is about realizing when you're showing up for yourself, realizing when you're fighting for your self-confidence, and no, let me rephrase that, not realizing it. This is about when you are doing something to better your self-esteem and you're not giving yourself enough credit, okay? You need to learn to recognize this. It's important because when you are getting it right, if you don't recognize that, you're not even reaping the benefit of it, babe. You're getting it right and then not even like reaping the benefit. So this one signed up for some private lessons with me. And I do private lessons in burlesque and sensual dance and chair and a very minimal amount of pole these days and how to do your makeup and all this kind of stuff. And so shameless plug there. If you do ever want to do private lessons on any of that, hit me up. I'm in Denver. I'm happy to meet with you. So anyway, she signed up for some lessons. She lives a while away. I'm not going to say how far away because it will give away which girl it was in the workshop. And I really want to go for some anonymity here in case it's important to her. But let me just put it this way. From where I was in South Denver that day to where she was coming from, she hit some traffic, okay, which can skew things no matter what. She hit some traffic and her drive ended up all in with those issues 2 hours. 2 hours. To come to a private lesson because she also knew that if she did this lesson, it would increase her self-confidence and it would increase her self-confidence in her goals, larger goals around the concepts of pole burlesque or whatever it was that she's into, okay? She is taking the class. She's doing the 3 sessions. She's making super long drive every time to go to that. She has signed up for my private lessons and she's driving way even further for that than where the workshop was. And she gets here and we start talking and right toward the end of her lesson, she's sitting there and I said, are you quite realizing what you're doing for yourself? Are you quite realizing how hard you're working to love yourself? And she just kind of looked at me and she says, well, yeah, I mean, I guess. And she was close to tearful. She was just feeling, she had shared with me the things that were affecting her sense of femininity and affecting her sense of sensuality and affecting her confidence. And I just let her kind of open up to me and, you know, the tears came but just in a little tiny bit. And I put it out to her and I said, do you realize you have spent money on this? You are making drives to do it. You're spending the hours in class. There was homework in that workshop, you guys. You had to go home and do homework for that class. She would go home, do all the homework, participate in the social online group. She was showing up in this workshop in every single area that was asked of her. Then making that drive for those lessons. And I looked at her and I said, do you not realize how much you love yourself? And the tears started to it chokes me up. And the tears got heavier, you know, and they were kind of pouring down the face with a greater amount of weight to them. And I said, do you realize how much you love yourself and how much you are doing for yourself by doing what you're doing? You just drove for 2 hours to get here today to come see me. And the dam broke and she was crying. And it was a beautiful moment because I got to point it out to her, which meant the world to me, but more importantly, she realized it then. And she had something more to fight for on her way home and going forward because she realized in the moment, this is not easy. Like just a workshop and just a private lesson is not going to get it done. Not to say she thought it was going to be easy, but it definitely hit home at that point. And she left loving herself more and feeling more confident about herself because she realized she deserved credit for being strong, for not contextualizing her self-image and self-esteem problems as a weakness, but rather an obstacle to be conquered. The one did not mean the other. These struggles did not mean she was weak. They just meant that it's not easy and you have to fight for it. So I hope this helps you. I love you so much. This is for you guys. Those of you who have been watching and commenting and feeding back, or giving me feedback and subscribing and just taking part. I love you and appreciate you so much. Please know that these videos are simply for you, not for me. I really want to get out there and help you. And self-confidence was the thing y'all ladies had said. We want more of that kind of content. So please subscribe, please like, please comment. I really love that. But of course, likes and subscribes helps me. Just to let you know, when you like or subscribe or share, it helps me quite a bit to get the content seen. The various platforms which I publish this stuff on aren't really great about surfacing to the top, especially if they're hoping you'll run some ads and things like that. I would love your help getting this out there. Something as simple as liking and commenting really can help me get my content out there. So I would love you for that. That is all for today, ladies. I hope this video helped you. I hope to reframing the context of self-esteem and self-confidence around weakness versus strength and around easy versus a challenge really helps you. Let's step up our A game. If we're gonna say this is what we want in our life, let's act like we mean it and go for it. Let's make it a goal that we'll fight for, and we'll know that's not easy, but we'll know we'll get there, and we'll feel like amazing warriors because of it. I love you. Love and glitter. I'll talk to you soon. Ms. Roxy Star signing out for now. Bye-bye. It's me. I'm back again. I'm here. I want to add something here really quick at the end because it's important to me. As you know, if you know me, or you'll soon come to know, I am extremely passionate about the topics of domestic violence and abusive relationships, be that mental, emotional, financial, whatever thing it is that you're involved with. I want to put this note in here for you, love, because this is different for you. And I don't want this video to find a victim of a domestic violence or abusive relationship who is actively enduring that to get discouraged by this video. On the one hand, yes, take from it anything and everything you can. Anything I said that will help you with your self-confidence and help you feel strong, do that, girl. That's going to help you get out of this situation. And you need to get out, and you will get out. I promise there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I've been in those kind of relationships, not physically violent, but abusive in their own way. And one of the things I most strongly recall is feeling no sense of strength to devote to myself and to my needs, and in particular to my personal growth. It felt more like I was just surviving mentally and emotionally, and being strong for anything other than that sense of survival just simply wasn't an option. It just, no human can sustain all that and endure all that and then somehow be on this amazing path toward self-discovery and self-love. Like they just don't go together. And so for you, what I want you to hear is, I hear you, I see you, and I love you. And it is okay if this isn't going to work for you right now. And by that I mean, it doesn't mean you're weak. If you're hearing this advice and thinking, there's no effing way I can take her advice right now, I'm just trying to get through every day and not lose my mind, that's okay. Your job right now is to take care of yourself and get out. That is your job. And that is going to take so much strength, and that is going to be so not easy, that's okay. And it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong, and you're just having to focus your strength on something that is more critical and time sensitive. And I would go so far as to say urgent, okay? Girl, work on that, do you, and know that if you're not quite at the point where you're ready to take the advice in this video, that doesn't mean anything negative about you. You are where you are at, you are working on what you need to, and I will be here for you on the other side of the rainbow when you get here and you're out of that relationship, and we can work on this stuff at that time. That is okay, love. Right now, you need to take care of you, and you need to get out. Love and glitter. Bye.